Okay, I'm going to make a longer version of a short I just made. And it's about, I've never really thought of it this way. I mean, I think in each situation I realized it, but not thought of it as a collective. I guess is a better way to say it. Is that some of these people I've mentioned, especially the ones who are like e-beggars, or they are e-beggars, not like, they are e-beggars. They're swindlers, they're master manipulators, or they're copycats. They steal other people's ideas. Sometimes even, I'm not talking about identity theft, but in the way that we're used to hearing it, but they'll steal people's, like, parts of their personality, their persona, or whatever it is. They'll steal some and make it their own. One woman tried to even steal my level of education. She tried to steal my opinions, which were totally against her own, and her bases. Her base, yeah. And she didn't even realize that that's what she was doing. She just went on and on. She did to other people too. And some people, they don't have enough creativity to come up with their own things, and they take other people's, that kind of stuff. But I never had thought of it this way, like I said, collectively, that I get to the point where I cannot stand the sounds of their voices with each one. Okay, I cut it off there because I was going to try to show Squirrely. Sure. Well, I have a squirrel. It might be two squirrels. She's very busy. I don't know if it's a she, but I'd say her name is Squirrely, and it's a she. But anytime I'm out here, she will come to the top of the house. It's a 2-story house, and she'll walk across the top of the roof, and then she'll go down to the, garage where we park. We're supposed to park, we don't. But it's our house. We park wherever we want to. You know what I'm saying? It's Adam's man cave, really. And he's very dirty. Anyway. But I never had thought about it that way, that in each and every one of them, literally, I cannot stand their voices. Seriously, at some point it would get to that, I could not stand the way. And their voices, they are somewhat exaggerated, and or they exaggerate things that they say at times too, at different times. Not the whole while, but some of them, they'll give a really loud screech in their voice. And I know some people can say, I have a strange one. Well, I was born and raised in Texas, and then I moved around. Okay? I'm a very educated person. You might not be able to tell by the sound of my voice. But anyway. And they might find it irritating because it is different to them. Okay, that's fine. But these are people who exaggerate their voices. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's not totally. Some of them have just... The copycats, I think, are the ones that are more... I'm less likely to can't get to that point that they can't stand the sound of voices. They just copy stuff. They don't really copy the sound of somebody's voice that I have noticed. It's more that they copy everything. They steal the other person's thunder. They steal their, like a person has a tagline practically. And they'll steal that for themselves. Like I say, I am not new to this planet. And I am not new to this planet. And they would steal something like that. Other people say stuff like this, but they will purposely go out and steal it. You see what I'm saying? That's how they live their lives, is stealing stuff from other people. They copy them. And they think it's perfectly fine. They don't see why there would be any problem with that. It's all out there. It's all free. This kind of mentality. By the way, I'm sitting here right before I started to make this video. Right now it says it's 71 degrees. 71 degrees. That's what my SUV says. And to my right here, there's some grass. And there's a fence. And a wall. And there's ice from that winter storm Fern. It ended how many days ago? Yeah, this is Texas. And it's February the 3rd, 2026. But still have ice over there. How interesting. And snow on top of it. 71 degrees. Yeah. Of course, it's behind a wall, and yeah, the sun is on the other side. That kind of thing. But anyway. But yeah, there's another one. I just can't stand the sound of her voice. And she exaggerates her voice. She tries to act like, and like I've said, I've heard this kind of thing many times in doctors' offices. I even hear doctors use it too. Doesn't matter, male, female. It's a little bit of like a valley girl. Well, for men, it's not valley girl. I don't know what you would call that. Maybe a little bit of metrosexual. Remember that? Metrosexual. And what they apparently think is royalty. How royalty would sound like British. The British royalty, but or British. And they combine all that together. It comes out really fingernails across chalkboard. To me, it just sounds, the whole thing. And I found one recently I can actually mimic. Now, I worked in that kind of field. I was a career student, undergraduate and graduate school, over 20 years of being a student. Yeah, I really wanted to know what I know, and I do. And I had some of that. One of my sisters called it highfalutin. That highfalutin voice. You and one of our other sisters who worked in it too. I had, but yeah, in the medical, I heard, and just recently, like I was saying before I got off on my tangent, that one of them said, I said, "Why are y'all calling me?" I have it listed as "do not call." I went through their portal. Everything's supposed to go through their portal. I went to their help desk, and the help desk said that everything will go through the portal. They are not to call you 3 times. I even verified it after this woman said that was the 3rd time that they said, yeah, that's what it should be. But you know what she said? She was the manager. And they kept calling me. And one of the reasons why I got really upset was because they did something they don't do. That whole group, they don't call and ask for money. You pay it through the portal. Okay, or when you're there. And they called and asked for money. 3 people. First one, she connected me to this other woman, and this other woman, she kept talking over me like she acted like she was high on some kind of energy drink. And she said, "What, you want to talk to my manager?" This kind of thing. Actually, that might be good. It wasn't. And the managers, I said, "Why are you calling me?" And she said, I said, "No means no." She said, "Well, what it says is that you prefer," and that's that word. Doesn't it just like fingernails across the chalkboard? Prefer. Anyone speak to my manager? Oh, fingernails across the chalkboard. Seriously, for those of us who are old enough to know what that means how it sounded. Really, what can you say about some people? Honestly. And what do they think they're gaining? Do they think that they're gaining some kind of status? I actually think that some people do. They do believe, that people who do this superiority thing, they have a superiority complex. And they want to be seen. Some of this falls under narcissism. They want to be seen as something more than they are, because they truly believe that they are more than they are. So they cop this voice, thinking, like I said, they think royalty would do, or sometimes it's what they think wealthy would do in the United States. You see? Okay, but never had I really experienced this one. Um, there's the one I can't stand to hear her voice. It's not the first person. But another one is to look at somebody's face. I can't stand to see, well, that one, the voice, I can't stand to look at her face either. And this other one, she doesn't really have, it's not her voice, it's the way she says everything, as though she, like she had this epiphany. I've heard so many of them recently say they had this epiphany, and they say it in whatever way they say it, they might not use that word. But, and then they act as though they are somehow, like they're an influencer, and people see them as high up, and then they'll use that voice. But this one, the face thing, is that she exaggerates her face. I don't know if it's makeup. One thing is her eyebrows. She exaggerates her eyebrows. That's the only way I can put it. To make her look what? I don't know. It looks kind of creepy, to tell you the truth. And that's an opinion. Some people say, oh, it looks greater. Maybe everybody says that's kind of creepy. I mean, it's different. I know a lot of people strive so hard, especially people with histrionic behavior. They strive so hard to look different than other people, and you might come out creepy. So in hers it does, and she's one that thinks she had an epiphany, and that everybody sees her that way. Like, oh, listen to her, she's so wise. And she's really not. She's really not that wise at all. She's just a con artist, in my opinion. Master manipulator. She's not gotten to the point of being one to master it just yet. She's working hard on it, though. And anyway, I think I'm going to go inside the house. Adam came out as I was about to start this. He was going to go to the store to buy some stuff for the dogs and all, to Costco. Buy a few things, and he said where the dogs are in the house, and I'm okay. I just feel like going and take a nap. So, yeah, it's been a stressful today and yesterday. It was stressful, busy, I don't know. Yesterday was stressful and busy. Today was just kind of busy. So far. But anyway, I don't even know what to say about this anymore. I'm just kind of updating because it's been something that's been going on for months now. And, I have other stuff that's going on, and I don't talk about this all the time. But it's just to me, somebody who irritates me so much. I can't stand the sound of their voice, or their face. Because what comes out of that face is all these lies. All this, it's lies. It's all this deceit, all this manipulation. All of it just comes right out of that mouth. And that one, and that one, and that one. You see what I'm saying? And I can't even tell you how many. It's just more like, I think that's why I started watching the Waltons. I really do. I was thinking that was a better time in life. But once I started watching them, I was 9 years old when that started, I think. The Waltons. And if you haven't watched them in as long as I haven't, since back then, that I know of, it was way back then, through the whole series. I wasn't much on TV back then anyway. So I don't know how much I watched back then. And I don't remember any of them that I've watched so far in the first season. So I'm on the first season. I don't remember them. But they go across a lot of issues. Go across? Why did I say go across? I don't know. Weird. But, yeah, they talk about a lot of, it was during the Great Depression, they talked about Hitler and, other things too, different types of people. But, wow, Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Talk to you on another video. Bye.